Hello everyone, today in this video we will fight against the elements character of our world around us, and today we will discuss one of the largest viciousness of many of governments nowadays. This viciousness I would like to discuss, it is so-called hate speech. Of course, the assumptions and official version why the hate speech was introduced or it is planned to be introduced here and there. Explanations are very noble and, of course, for the good, for the protection of the weaker ones, prosecuted ones, and so on. But in fact, if we see that how these regulations concerning hate speech are written down and how everything is so vague within this text, we see that this is typical approach of totalitarian regimes to construct the law, the regulations of the law, in a way that can be used as officials working for the government once at any moment, or as it is comfortable for them at the moment, to defend themselves and the regime. That is why these regulations against the hate speech are nothing more than only a sort of preventive censorship dressed in the noble clothes of protecting the weak ones, preventing the hatred, suppression, and so on. This is really vicious and tricky way of making the law, because when we want to discuss like nowadays majority of discussions look like in the emotional manner that people should be protected, someone can be offended, blah blah, we will never win. But the people who decide about what's hate speech and what's not hate speech will have always upper hand on us. That is why people who are taking care of their freedom really want to stay free and would like to get their ability to express their own opinion untouched should oppose such legislation, because it can be and it will be always abused against them, and the government and its officials will get another tool to suppress us for what reason ever. Because good tradition will not decide if we are right or not. People who are about to be offended will not decide if we offended them or not. Officials will decide. But before officials will decide, we know that officials never decide on their own unless they decide only about to take the bribe or not, but they do not decide about any functional decisions they are supposed to make. They only follow the instruction they get from the authorities. That is why this so-called hate speech and so on, authorities are using to suppress our freedoms and to close our mouths. And we should oppose people always in politics who support the idea of promoting so-called hate speech, so new version of the censorship. Nothing else. All the best, have a nice day, bye.